So let us we start now, and okay, now it is visible and everything is clear to all of you. I think let us we start with the our presentation on the topic gravitation. So देखिए ये इसीलिए थोड़ा सा चेंज किया मोड को. Let us we try to understand the concept of the gravitations. What is the first thing comes in your mind when you heard the word gravitation? पहली चीज क्या आती है आपके दिमाग में?
Sir, the pull of Earth.
So
Okay,
the attraction force.
okay. वो न्यूटन वाला देखा है वो apples are falling
Yes, sir.
on the head
Yes,
and the
sir.
person is sitting
Yes, sir.
and from where the spark has to eureka has to be there. Why the things are happening? क्यों हो गया ऐसे? So first we try to understand this gravitational term, what actually the gravitational force is, and then we come to the important aspect of this one. So the first point is what is a gravitational force? Because all the things when we discuss, it comes in the mind that things are falling in the downward direction. Where even when we put our feet, so it is also attracted towards the earth surface. नीचे की तरफ को आते हैं. So why the things are happen? Even in the natural processes, we have seen the satellites, artificial or the natural satellite, they are revolving around the earth surface, घूमती रहती हैं उसके सराउंडिंग के अंदर, चलती रहती हैं, बी प्लेस इन दिस वे. वैसे तो कंसेप्ट अराइज होता है, दैट इज द कंसेप्ट ऑफ द सेंट्रीपिटल फोर्स. हैव यू हर्ड द वर्ड सेंट्रीपिटल फोर्स?
Yes,
Which
sir.
keep the
Yes,
object
sir.
to moving,
Yes, sir.
and the force is directed towards the center seeking.
Cent-
So
Yes, sir.
gravitational force is the force of attraction between any two bodies because of their masses. Suppose I and earth. So I have a particular mass of 75 kilogram, 78 kilogram. Earth is a huge object having a mass of anybody knows the mass of the earth? It's near about 10 is to the power 24 kilogram. Yes. So things are attracted towards the earth, and that is because of the huge mass. So mass plays a very important role, and it is connected with the gravitational force. So when the objects they are attracted towards the earth, definitely the force of attraction word comes into a very important play. That is this attraction is related with the gravity, and that is why the gravitational force terms comes into play. इसलिए ये टर्म जो इंट्रोड्यूस की गई है. सो लेट अस वी ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड मोर अबाउट द ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्सेस. So these are the forces which are between the two objects that forms the action and reaction pair. And when we are talking about the action and reaction pairs, what do you mean by this?
The third law of motion.
Newton's third
So
law.
Newton's third law.
Excellent. Very
Third
good.
law.
So this is the concept of the Newton's third law. So gravitational force between the two objects is independent of the nature of the medium. What is the meaning of the nature of medium here?
Sir, it can be a vacuum or air.
It can be. Excellent. Very nice. Very good. So it is independent of the nature of the, either you put in the water or in the air or in the vacuum. So it is independent of this one, and is negligible in case of the lighter bodies. The lighter body means if the object having a smaller masses. So gravitational force, although it's one of the weak forces in all the type of the forces, the four forces which we know, that is the part of this one. Gravitational forces is appreciable in case of massive bodies like stars and planets. In case of Earth, you can see it's a huge object. So definitely apples will attract towards the Earth because of the huge mass. So it has an important role. And this is a very, very important concept among all the forces. दो तीन फोर्सेस मैं आपको बताता हूँ. जैसे ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स है हमारे पास, न्यूक्लियर फोर्सेस हैं, देन हमारे पास इलेक्ट्रो मैग्नेटिक फोर्सेस की बात हो रही है, उनमें सब में ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्सेस इज वन ऑफ द वीकेस्ट फोर्सेस.
So friction.
सो हाँ, वैसे तो बहुत सारे हैं, बट इन नेचर विच वी विल डिस्कस मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम, इट इज कंजर्वेटिव फोर्स इन द नेचर. कंजर्वेटिव मीन्स It doesn't depend upon the path or other concept. It is totally independent of rest of the things. So that is the conservation resultant. हमें चाहिए whatever the ways or the path has to be followed, it is independent. These are some of the another important properties: mass dependent and charge independent. So that is again a clicking point: mass dependent and charge independent. So gravitational force is the force. You can give the answer out of these four. This is options.
Sir, A.
Sorry.
Sir,
Yes.
option A.
A. So
Yes, excellent. बहुत बढ़िया, excellent. So be quick and one another question, because already you have seen this is the force of attraction in the previous slides. Come to the another questions. बताइए.
Sir, all
Weakest,
of the above.
Sir,
longest.
all of the above. All of the
All
above.
of the above. Wonderful. बहुत बढ़िया. अरे बहुत बढ़िया. Good. It is all of the above. So all the properties we have listed in the previous slides. So this is something about the gravitational forces. Come to the very first topic. This is the part of the syllabus also. In the examination, it may be asked from all of you to do something, do mathematical calculation and all these. Universal law of gravitation, or sometimes it is called the Newton's law of gravitation, because it is a contribution of the Newton, and that is why it is also connected with that. Why we call it as universal law of gravitation? Because it is true everywhere, at every place. In the previous, now, and in the coming time, it is applicable and has the same phenomena as calculated by the scientist. So let us we try to understand some of the basic contribution, basic idea, or Newton plays a very important role to this one. फोटो में आपको दिखाई भी दे रहा होगा न्यूटन का, देखिए the style, the way the eyes or the body facial expression, it indicate about how the critical thinker of the person from the image we can observe. So moon is revolving around the earth in a, we will not go into the calculation of this one, it's a mathematical calculations. There is no need to give the okay, so they assume that this force changes inversely as the square of the distance. So when the objects are attracted towards the earth, and when we come to the mathematical forces, so it comes into play as the distance is smaller, the gravitational forces is more, and as the distance is very, very large, the effect is reduced. So you can see in terms of the gravity, and the earth is inversely proportional. This give rise to the concept of the universal gravitational constant. So universal gravitational constant, let us we consider a particular object of mass m1 having some particular value situated at point A, and similarly the point B, the second object is placed, and let us consider they are separated by some particular distance. ये वाला स्लाइड का आप पिक्चर जरूर ले लेना, इसका स्क्रीनशॉट एट द एंड मैं बता दूंगा आपको. दिस इज ए concept of universal law of gravitation. So there exists a force of attraction between the here we are not talking about the concept of repulsion. Attraction ही attraction है यहाँ पे object के बीच में. तो जब attraction है तो force of attraction भी है, और एक ही line of actions पे है. So बहुत सारे concepts को ये follow करते हैं. Conservative nature को follow करेंगे. न्यूटन्स के third law की बात होगी. So this is the distance r, two objects at a particular finite distance. They are having a force of attraction, and this force is called gravitational force. So here it comes a very important concept, the concept of gravitational force. So this force is directly, this is the, we are moving toward the conceptual part of the universal gravitational, this laws of gravitation, that is the force is directly proportional to the product of the masses. You can see in the mathematical term, this is the proportionality sign after that, and this is the distance, which is because as the distance is more, the force effect is reduced, and if the distance is smaller, it is more. So from here we combine this and we get a mathematical formula: F is equal to, F is directly proportional to m1 m2 upon r square. And when we go through the statement, so the statement is also to be explained from here. That is, the every object in the universe attract every other object with a force which is directly proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. प्रोपोर्शनलिटी साइन को जब हम हटाते हैं यहाँ से तो एक कांस्टेंट टर्म इंट्रोड्यूस की जाती है कैपिटल जी. दिस इज कॉल्ड द यूनिवर्सल ग्रेविटेशनल कांस्टेंट. और इसका जो वैल्यू है वो मैं आपको बताता हूँ. बिफोर प्रोसीडिंग दिस यू टेक द स्क्रीनशॉट एंड if it creates some. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
आप इसका एक बार ऐसे फोटो ले लीजिए in this way so that statement will not be hidden. If it is every particle के place में you can write on every object and this is the complete the about the universal law of gravitation. So from here the formula comes into play. F is equal to g m upon r square. And when we are talking about the formula, when we are it's okay. So I think this is the syllabus of the term 2. That is the part of this term 2. We have started with the concept of gravitation, and from here the two things are clear to all of you. कौन सी? Just a bit. Okay. Okay. One thing is clear to all of you, what is the gravitational force. Number second is clear to all of you, what is universal law of gravitation.
Yes, sir.
And from here you must have the concept of the definition, you must have the concept of the formula, and in formula you have calculated F is equal to g m1 m2 upon r square. And from here you have again an important concept that this g is called universal gravitational constant. So this is another concept, and if you want to calculate the value of this g, so you can calculate this is f into r square upon m1 into m2. If you want to calculate the units, so that also you can calculate, that is f का हो गया न्यूटन, डिस्टेंस का हो गया मीटर स्क्वायर, और मास का हो गया किलोग्राम स्क्वायर. सो इट बिकम्स न्यूटन मीटर स्क्वायर पर किलोग्राम स्क्वायर. दिस इज इन एसआई यूनिट्स. और अगर आपको सीजीएस में जाना है तो क्या आ जाएगा? न्यूटन क्या होता है? 10 सेंटीमीटर स्क्वायर और
ग्राम
per gram square. ठीक है. So in this way we can write down, but the important thing is the mathematical formula. This we will use for the numerical purpose. F is equal to g m1 m2 upon r square. और अगर मैं इसको अर्थ के केस में लगाता हूँ, अर्थ के केस में तो कैसे यूज करूँगा? इन केस ऑफ अर्थ, सपोज ये अर्थ है हमारे पास, और अर्थ के केस में अर्थ ये इसका रेडियस है, ये इसका मास है, ये सेंटर है सपोज, और मान लेते हैं ये हम है यहाँ पे. तो सेम फार्मूला कैसे लगेगा? F इज इक्वल टू जी वन ऑब्जेक्ट, सेकेंड ऑब्जेक्ट, और डिस्टेंस बिटवीन द टू ऑब्जेक्ट इज इक्वल टू द radius between the two objects. The radius of this particular. So this is for the numerical purpose, और इसी को हम numerical के लिए use करते हैं. यहाँ से एक और concept भी arise होता है. कौन सा concept arise होता है? That is the concept of this G. This is called universal gravitational constant. So how you define this capital G? अब आपके पास फार्मूला क्या है? F इज इक्वल टू जी एम एम अपॉन आर स्क्वेयर. मान लेते हैं ये दोनों m1 m2 जो हैं, या ये फार्मूला है हमारे पास. सो दिस इज इक्वल टू 1, मतलब यूनिट मास, and distance is also equal to 1 meter. So under this condition what happen? G is equal to F. सही है? So from here you can also define what is universal gravitational constant. This is equal to the force of attraction between the two objects of unit masses and separated by a unit distance. So that is again a concept of the universal gravitational constant from here. So I think this point is also clear to all of you. So numerical phase we will discuss in the next class. Till then, thank you.